And every year there's about 20 million bikes are being registered. A million of them happens to be electric bikes. We are leading in the world in terms of those numbers, but we don't have a racing team or a representation in the racing world to represent us from India. And here today, we want to change that narrative. As the owner and founder of Inde Racing, my name is Abhishek Reddy Kankanala. It's my honor to announce a groundbreaking moment in the history of Indian motorsports. Inde Racing is set to become the first motorcycle team from India.
Hello, everybody. Well, the first thing I want to say also is that the e-Explorer for us, for the riders, is very important because as a woman, it's giving us the same option that the boys. And motorsport, I'm on a bike since I remember. And motorsports, I can say, is not the same for women and for men. So they called me last year in the last moment. I'm so happy that I said yes to go to the races because I felt I had the same opportunity as my teammate, and he was a man. We had the same bikes, we had the same tracks, and we just needed to race. So for this, thank you for e-Explorer. And now we have a lot of work to do with Inde. I'm so happy to represent this country, to represent this team. Men, women, and afterwards they go head to head in the same way that they've done last year. So the qualies would be on a relay sort of mode, and afterwards they go into semi-final and final. It's as simple as, but it's in stages. So you have the qualifications, quarterfinals, finals, and final. And the teams are going against each other, but this year what we will do, we will also crown the female riders and the male riders separately, then the whole team together for the finalists who did the best time.
Do you have a set number of mandatory female riders in every team?
It's mandatory that each team has one male rider and one female rider. It is mandatory. So you have to have 2 riders per team, and afterwards each team can set up if they have like reserve riders or riders which will replace other riders. If, for example, one of the riders has a commitment for another championship, as you know, the calendar for championships is very, very busy.
India నుంచి ఒక రేసింగ్ టీమ్ రిప్రజెంట్ చేస్తుందండి వరల్డ్ ఛాంపియన్షిప్లో. The name is called Inde Racing. So far in the history of the country, we've been racing for the last 70 years. We haven't had any participation. ఏంటంటే ఇండియా నుంచి ఆల్మోస్ట్ 300 million bikers ఉన్నారు. Every year there is 20 million bikes that are being sold in the country. A million bikes, electric bikes, are being sold in the country, but there is no representation from the country to represent us on the global platform. So Isari, what we're doing is we're making that effort to be part of that World Championships. We are licensed by FIM to represent India in the World Championships for Inde, and the championship is called e-Explorer Series. Idi February 17th, one of it, but eventually we'll let you know in the next month or so.
E-bikes గురించి స్పెషల్ ఏమన్నా
e-bikes గురించి స్పెషల్గా రేసింగ్ బైక్స్ గురించి
E-bikes అనేది, I mean, what you see on your regular roads, it's similar to your F1, and then you compare the cars, regular cars తోటి ఏమవుతుందంటే టెక్నాలజికలీ F1 నుంచి వచ్చే టెక్నాలజికల్ అడ్వాన్సెస్ కమ్స్ డౌన్ టు your regular cars, be it the speed, be it the mileage, be it a lot of other parts that trickle down from a racing platform, regular cars నుంచి వస్తుంటుంది. Idi kuda, this platform, what we are trying to do is we are trying to create and push the racing electric bike to a point of failure. Eventually, it'll come down to a point where that racing technology will come into the regular electric bikes. India has got one of the most bikes, in electric bikes being sold in the country, in the world, and I believe that technology trickling down will have a huge effect on it.
ఇండి రేసింగ్ టీమ్ గురించి ఇద్దరు ఫీమేల్ రైడర్స్ లేదంటే ఇంకా రైడర్స్
Indie racing team la we have 4 riders, Andy. 2 Indians and 2 from the global championship series. Um, the race has 1 female and 1 male participating in the actual race. We'll have 2 of them as backup riders, and eventually, based on the performances, based on the races, based on situation, and the advantage that the racers would have, based on the terrain, we will deploy the riders accordingly. Ippudaithe manaku 4 riders, 2 from India and 2 from Sandra Gomez is our female rider from Spain. We have Spencer Wilton from Canada. He was not able to join us today, but Spencer Wilton is from Canada. Aishwarya Pise is representing us from India, and we are still looking for the male rider.
సో ఇక్కడ మనతో పాటు ఉన్నారు అభిషేక్ రెడ్డి కంకనాల. సో సార్ చెప్పండి, అసలు ఈ బైక్ రేస్ అంటే మామూలుగా మనకి ఈ బైక్ అంటేనే మనం ఈ రోజుల్లో చూస్తున్నాం ఎక్కువ డెవలప్ అయింది. సో రేస్ అనేది ఇంకా కొంచెం ఎక్కువ హార్డ్గా ఉంటుంది అండ్ వైల్డ్గా ఉంటుంది. సో ఇది మీరు ఎలా సపోర్ట్ చేస్తున్నారు?
అంటే ఈ బైక్ అనేది మనము రోడ్ మీద చూసే బైక్స్ లైక్ రెగ్యులర్ బైక్స్ దట్ యూ ట్రావెల్, ఇట్స్ ఆల్ కమ్యూటర్ బైక్స్. కమ్యూటర్ బైక్స్లో ఆ టెక్నాలజీ రావాలి అంటే యూ హ్యావ్ టు పుష్ దోస్ కమ్యూటర్ బైక్స్ టు అ పాయింట్ ఆఫ్ ఫెయిల్యూర్. అది ఒక రేసింగ్లో మాత్రమే సాధ్యమవుతుందండి. ఎందుకంటే ఇప్పుడు ఈ ఆఫ్ రోడింగ్ రేసింగ్ మీరు ఏదైతే చూస్తున్నారో, ఇట్స్ నాట్ పాసిబుల్ టు డూ విత్ యువర్ రెగ్యులర్ బైక్స్. Right, so there are race tuned bikes that are created specifically for the race conditions, so that new technologies hemotadi ante as we get the new technologies from the racing situation, we want to win, which means that we will create, we'll spend a lot more money on innovation, and those innovation will trickle down into the regular market and thereby benefiting. And for example, oka example cheppalante, oka charge meeda meer oka 4-5 years back chusinante, the amount of number of kilometers that you would do on one charge is very different from what you can do now, right? So that all happens and that all trickles down from technologies where you're pushing it not just for the commuters but from a racing concept. So Adi, that's a fundamental of it.
అండ్ మోరోవర్ ఇప్పుడు నార్మల్ బైక్ని కంటే ఈ బైక్ని చూస్ చేసుకోవడానికి రీజన్ ఏంటి?
And the world is moving to alternate fuel. Other than the reason that we do not have enough fossil fuels left, which is eventually, we have to figure out a solution. And e-bike is one of the solutions that's available. It is one of the mostly used solutions. Of course, there is more technologies that's coming in that uses alternate energy beyond just electric. But Inde does not represent only electric. We represent the alternate technologies. So, even if you look at how the government is pushing towards alternate technologies everywhere and sustainability, I think we are supporting that sustainability.
నైస్ సార్. అండ్ మిమ్మల్ని చూసుకున్నట్లయితే మీరు ఓన్లీ ఈ బైక్ రేసింగే కాదు, మీరు వాలీబాల్ అండ్ హ్యాండ్బాల్కి కూడా మీరు చాలా సపోర్ట్ చేస్తున్నారు. సో అసలు ఆ మోటివేషన్ ఏంటి?
అంటే for sport in general, I think the country needs a little more support. I think there's a lot more individuals doing a lot more things than me. కొందరు grassroots లో చేస్తున్నారు. Some people are just coaches who do a lot of work for the students, and I'm just one of those people who are supporting the entire landscape. I'm doing it from a perspective that I can influence, and I feel that we are looking at it from a television perspective, because what we are trying to do is give it a bigger push in terms of millions. Volleyball చూసారంటే ఇప్పుడు we are spread volleyball to about 300 million people. This year we're going to be about 300 million, making us the largest and most viewed volleyball league in the world. Start చేసినాం only two years back, but now I think considering that sort of a push, we realize that okay, we can reflect that in multiple sports beyond just volleyball, and that's the motivation.
Great, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much.